Okay, so today's going to be all about our angle facts with triangles. So we already know two things from yesterday. We already know that the angles in a triangle sum to 180 degrees. And if you remember from the last lesson, we also know that if you have an isosceles triangle indicated with those tick marks to say these sides are congruent, therefore these base angles across from the congruent sides will also be congruent. Now let's take a look how we can apply that. So this first question, I'm going to do this one. So just sit back and take a look. I'm noticing I have an isosceles triangle. These two sides are the same. Therefore, the angles across from those congruent sides will also be the same. If this interior angle is 40, that means D must also be 40. So let's start with that. So D equals 40 degrees. The last angle remaining is C, and if you notice, we already have two interior angles of a triangle, so why don't we just take that away from 180 degrees to get the remaining one. So 180 minus 40 minus 40 would be the same thing as 180 take away 80, which would give us 100 degrees. So that means C is 100 degrees. Perfect. So there's how you can apply those two angle facts from our previous lesson. Don't forget, sometimes isosceles triangles have the congruent sides in this orientation. I think you're most familiar with it looking like this. If you need to maybe redraw the triangle so it looks like this, that's fine. Or just draw your arrows across so you remember which two angles are the same. Can you now take a second and try this question? So hopefully you had a good go at that. Let's see what the solution should be. Again, the isosceles triangle is what you would probably consider to be sideways since the base is over here. But nonetheless, we know that the angles across from the congruent sides are the same. So in this case, D equals 80 degrees. If we have two 80 degrees, that means we have 160 degrees so far in total. We know to find C, we can take that 160 away from 180 to get a remaining value of 20, which means that C equals 20 degrees. If that's what you got, give yourself a big red tick, big red smiley face. Well done. Here's the last kind of problem we're going to try and do today. So I'll do this one, and just like the last example, you can attempt one after. So this time, do you notice we have interior angles as well as exterior angles? So a little bit different, but similar concept. First, let's see which angles are congruent in this isosceles triangle. So I know these two must be the same. So first thing I know is that M must be 65 degrees. Perfect. Let's go ahead and solve for N. So I know that I have 65 and another 65 in the triangle so far. So that would get me 130 degrees. If I take that away from 180, I have 50 degrees remaining. So that 50 degrees is N. So I have N equals 50 degrees. Now that's really similar to our last problem we just did. Here's the different part. Now we have the concept of QRS is a straight line, which equals 180 degrees. Therefore, N plus P must be 180. So if I take N away from 180, I'll get P. So if N's 150, if I do 180 minus 50, I get 130, which is P. So P equals 130. And the last one is this R, same concept. UTS is a straight line. Therefore, 180 degrees, take away M will get us R. So 180 minus 65. This would be what, 115 degrees. So that means R is 115. So there you go, a little bit more build up there. Can you please take a second, pause the video, and attempt this last one? So please try and find A, B, D, and C. Hopefully you did okay with that. Let's find out if you got it correct. So step one, let's do the interior angles first. So I know that A equals 55 degrees. Next one is B. So maybe you did 55 plus 55 to get, what, 110 degrees? So then if we take that away from 180, you get 70 degrees. Therefore, B equals 70. Okay, cool. Next one, C again creates a straight line here with that 55 degrees. So if we do 180, take away 55, we get what, 125 degrees. So that means C equals 125 degrees. And last one, B and D together form a straight line. So if we do 180 minus B, which was 70, we get 110. So that means D equals 110. Again, give yourself some feedback, grab that red pen. I hope you got the ball correct. And let's take a second, and after correcting that, go ahead and do your Heggerty tasks for today.